The Marriage Conversation. Discovering new pathways to intimacy in marriage. With your host, Dr. Stephen Frew.
I like stories, and I tell my children stories as often as I can. Stories are, for me, the core, the essence of healthy family life. All kinds of stories. Let me show you why I like stories so much. There are stories we tell close friends, stories we tell our mother. Some stories have been around thousands of years. Some are merely new versions of very old stories. All that we love has a story somewhere in it. Think of it. There are family stories, ancestor stories, folk tales, fairy tales, myths, epics, all touching somebody, none touching everybody. As E. Cummings once said, my poetry isn't for everyone. Stories are distilled wisdom served in concentrate. Colorful, emotional, baffling, frustrating, inspirational. They help us see life from another angle, turn an experience on its side, blindside us with insight so pure we can miss it if we're not fully attentive. Here's a familiar story about the dangers of being passive, the cold edge of self-survival, and the unending compassion, ingenuity, and selflessness of children. Can you guess what it is? A little boy and his sister lived with their father, a simple woodcutter, in the most modest of conditions. After their mother died unexpectedly, father married another woman. Another woman. We know that there's trouble ahead. The woman, married, we'd guess, to help father with the children, isn't much help. She's obsessed with her own survival, and as their meager income dwindles, there's less and less food to go around. She's unable to think of anyone but herself, and proposes, indeed demands, that the children be sacrificed so that she can eat. There's not enough food for all of us, she wails. Now, here is where the story jerks us out of our seat. There is no brainstorming of possible solutions. The stepmother proposes, and the father disposes. Take them to the woods and abandon them, she orders. And amazingly, he does. But the children aren't as linear, stunted, or enchanted as she is. They listen and begin to plan. As the father follows the directive of the mother deep into the woods, changing paths, circling around, doing his best to keep his children, from finding their way back, the boy is carefully dropping shiny pebbles along the way. After leaving the children in a clearing and promising to return, the parents head back to their simple hut. That night, as darkness falls and fear creeps in, the brother reveals his strategy to his sister. By the light of the moon, they follow the now reflective pebbles back home. How are they greeted? Well, what do you see? The next day, at the insistence of the mother, the father again takes the children deep into the woods. This time, the boy's plan is to scatter crumbs of bread. The crumbs are all these children will get from these parents along the path. When it's time to return, however, the children find the birds have eaten the crumbs, and they have no way back. Hansel and his sister Gretel find a small, candy-coated cottage owned by a witch. What witch? Why is she in the story? Inventive, courageous, cunning, the children not only escape the witch's trap, they kill her and take her treasure. Where do they take it? Back to the father. What's going on here? There's a truth I discovered some time ago that many people don't like hearing. Here it goes. I've never met a child who doesn't love their parents. Even seriously wounded and betrayed adults will work with their pain a while, and underneath you'll find a loyalty and a love that is virtually indestructible. But here's the kicker. I've met a number of parents who don't love their children, at least not by any standards that I know of. In our culture, we often reverse this, and it does great damage to children. We tell children, of course your parents love you. That isn't always true. Children love. It is their essence to do so. Why is it important to notice that some parents do not love their children? It is important because I want children to be sane. What Hansel and Gretel's father did was not loving. The story, brutal in its honesty, tells us so. A study I read a long time ago relating to adult male schizophrenics commented on 4 types of fathers. The author said passive fathers, by far, were the most dangerous to the children. There are other stories of passive fathers. Rapunzel is one of them, and we'll tell you that story in another broadcast. Read the story yourself. Read it to your children. Then ask each other, which character in the story do you most identify with and why? If you'd like to know more about this conversation, check out The Marriage Conversation. This is Stephen Frew. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening to The Marriage Conversation. For more free articles, recordings, and videos, please visit The Marriage Conversation at www.marriageconversation.com.